to school ones. I think most of the time people will take two of the same thing and put them together, like glue them together with the dowel rod in between. I actually designed this so that it stitches the front, and then when it stitches the back on, it leaves an area down here that is open so you can put the dowel rod in it. So let me show you step by step. So I start with hooping my stabilizer. This is Badge Master, which I have been loving lately. It's water soluble, but I basically just use it as tearaway. And then I let my tack down stitch out so that I can see where to place my felt and my fabric. Add a little 505 temporary adhesive so that the felt stays in place. And then add a little more 505 so that I can attach the fabric. And always use Heat and Bond Light on your fabric, and don't forget to peel the backing off. So then I'm gonna let the tack down stitch out over that so that stays in place. And since this is a bean stitch design, I can wait until the end to cut it all out, which is super nice. So that is the tack down. And then I'm gonna go ahead and let the apple applique stitch out. It'll be the stem, the leaf, and then the red part of the apple. So it's the placement and then the tack down for each one of those. And of course, I have put Heat and Bond Light on each piece of fabric. I try to go ahead and prep those so that the project goes swiftly. And then I cut in between each time that it's tacked down so that like there's not brown fabric there underneath the green. This is the leaf stitching out. And I don't want the brown fabric because sometimes you can see it. You can see through the other fabric. There's the green leaf, and then tack that down. And then at the very end, after all of these have been tacked down and cut out, there is another stitch that goes over the top. It's a little bit thicker, a bean stitch that will outline the stem, the leaf, and the apple also. So I go ahead and use my little mini heat press to get all that sealed in and make the Heat and Bond Light react. And then this is the outline of the apple. I just like to give it a little more definition. I will say too that bean stitch, if you don't know, you kind of want to leave a little bit of an edge. I'm not great at it, but you do want to leave a little bit of an edge for the fabric to stick out, and you don't want it to be too close, or there is, even with Heat and Bond, there is a chance that your fabric can pull away. So now let's go to the back. I'm going to use my good old 505 again, my temporary adhesive, to add more felt. Sorry, I forgot to film that, I guess, and more fabric. So I like to put felt and fabric on both sides just for the ones that makes it a little bit sturdier with the dowel stick in it. So then I tape it down with a little masking tape or whatever you have, painter's tape, and then put it back on the machine to stitch out the bean stitch to hold the backing on. And you can see there at the bottom, I did leave a little opening for the dowel rod so that you can stick it in there and not have to do any extra steps. So at this point it's finished. I just take it out of the hoop and go ahead and cut around the edges. Again, I do leave a little bit of an extra area there, you can see, not right up against the stitching because there is that risk that you're going to accidentally cut the stitches, and that would be so very sad. So I don't even bother pulling the stabilizer away. I just cut it all together. And then I give it one more little heat press just to seal it all in real good. And since I haven't heat pressed to the back yet, and then I take a pencil or a pen or something that's a little bit like a graduated so that you can kind of, because the dowel rods are just flat, you know, on the bottom. So I kind of stick it down in there because it can be a tight squeeze And then the dowel rod fits in there perfectly, and it's done.